Hi, everybody. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. He's Gary Groob, and we've got a guest with us, Chad Culp, former NLL player. Chad, welcome to the program. Thank you for taking time to join us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Here's the first question. Always a good one. It's a real brain teaser. That's actually very simple. How'd you pick up the stick?
Well, I had a couple cousins that grew up playing. I started when I was around 10. I remember going over during the summer times and playing in the backyard. And then that got me pretty well hooked. So that was in Arthur, Ontario is where I grew up. And then, I started playing, I guess we'll call it U10 now, or U11, sorry. And that's when I picked it up and started playing in Arthur, Ontario.
What kept you in it?
I guess, well, my first ever game, the first shift, actually, there was a good player named Jared McDougall. He was the draw guy, and he was like, go stand beside the net. And he won the draw, and he ran down on, I think it was like a 2-on-1. He passed me the ball, and I scored right away. And then he goes, do it again. So we did the same thing, and I scored again. So my first shift, I had 2 goals in like under a minute. So, I mean, that didn't hurt. So I guess I just kind of came easy to me and fell in love with it from there.
What have you taken out of the game? Having played, what are some of your best memories?
Some of my best memories, I unfortunately never won a provincial championship with Arthur, but a lot of good childhood friends that I'm still friends with, obviously, today, growing up playing with them all those years in minor lacrosse. And then from there, I actually got drafted to Kitchener and traded right away to Orangeville. So then going there and developing relationships with a lot of those guys and going to 2 Minto Cups, but not, unfortunately, not being able to win. But just a lot of good friends through lacrosse, a lot of great people I've met. So I would say that a lot of good friendships.
Yeah. And you were playing in a lacrosse hotbed as well. So as much as you appreciated playing, it appreciated you too.
It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt for sure. It's not that Kitchener is, a bad junior A organization, but I think, at the end of the day, what got me to the NLL was probably going there. And Lindsay Sanderson was my coach all 5 years. So I think I learned quite a bit from, the Sandersons and just everybody in Orangeville, just because of the love they have for it. And, it's easy to get hooked even when the town rallies behind you. And so, I'm not saying I might not have made it if I went to Kitchener, but I think, going to Orangeville definitely helped me.
Well, a small fish in a big pond grows faster than a small fish in a small pond.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? You got a lot more to learn, and your upward mobility increases because you have so much in front of you that you can take.
For sure. And a lot of good teachers there, for sure.
Absolutely. Gary?
The Orangeville program, when we've had guys on the show before, they're almost more excited to make the junior A team than when they were drafted into the NLL. Let's talk a bit about the culture of the team, because with so many great players around as coaches, because everybody keeps giving back, being part of that culture, what was that like just, coming in? You said you got traded from Kitchener, so here you are, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, it was kind of an eye-opener. My first junior A game I ever watched or anything, I played in. So just, I don't know, like growing up in Arthur, not really, the closest junior A would have been probably Orangeville or Kitchener. They're similar to the same distance, but I just never went and watched as a kid. So going there and just experiencing the town of Orangeville, how they get behind, and every home game was not a sellout, but it was pretty busy at the Bunny Barn. So that just and the culture. I think their minor system so well is because, like you said, they give back. Like a lot of those guys I played with would, after they were done junior, would go and take a minor lacrosse team, right? So it's just, they teach the same philosophies all the way up, and a lot of it's on hard work, and it just gets instilled in those young players in a minor age. And once they get to the junior, it's like, they're a well-oiled machine by the time they get there. And that's, I think, why Orangeville is so successful. Just how they give back, right? They have such passion for the game there. So that's a big reason why I think they do so well.
Right. To me, I think it's almost the closest thing we have to the Friday Night Lights idea in the U.S. and that idea in Orangeville, and I think it's just the case model.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if the whole city shuts down, but like a Friday Night Lights, like I always remember like the signs on the stores, right? Stores closed, football game or whatever. But no, yeah, like especially being in Canada, right? Like usually hockey comes first, where in Orangeville, it's, hockey's still big there, but lacrosse comes first there.
Absolutely. Now with the couple of Minto Cups you won, do you have a favorite memory that comes to mind of something towards that?
I guess the Ontario finals would have been my second year with them. The final game, I think I think we beat them 4-1 St. Catharines. I'm not sure if I'm right or not, but the final game, I think I had 4 goals, and it was against Vino too. So, so that was one of my memories going to the Minto that year for sure.
Right. What do you think improved the most while you were there towards getting you in there? Because such a tough program, toughness, discipline. What do you think was that last to get you to the NLL?
I think lacrosse IQ, to be honest. Like, I always had decent skills, and it's nothing to take back from my minor lacrosse coaches. But once I got there, I was, I could play the game, but then I was taught like the IQ of the game. So I think that's what kind of got me over the hurdle to that next step to make the jump to the NLL.
Right. Now you were drafted in the first round. You're drafted 9th overall. My favorite question to ask personally is your first training camp. Was it what you expected?
To be honest, I didn't really know what to expect. I was 19 at the time, going down to New York. So to the Big Apple for a 19-year-old kid who grew up in the town of 2000 that was an eye opener for sure. Flying into LaGuardia and then just seeing, downtown Manhattan and all that. So I was kind of, out of my element a little bit there, but just the pace, right? I was still pretty tiny then. I'm not very big now, but I probably weighed 160 soaking wet. So just the speed and the strength of all the players I was playing against was, I was obviously nervous going in, and then once practices and the training camp started, you kind of settled in and maybe I can do this type feeling. So, and just with what Orangeville teaches you with the hard work, just go out there and try to work your hardest and see where the chips lie.
Right. Now, over your career, you were in a number of teams. You were in some barns that were absolutely packed, some barns that weren't so packed. The one that stands out to me, of course, is Banditland. And let's talk about going in there and the energy that you get from just coming out into that kind of an environment.
Yeah, like running out of the tunnel gives you goosebumps. The hairs on the back of your neck definitely stand up. And then what I could always remember was like the national anthem, right? And when they, and the bagpipe, you can't forget the bagpipe, man. It just, the atmosphere there it's unreal. It is by far the best in the league. And you know what? Like, I'm glad I had the opportunity to play there. I actually was a free agent when I went there. And I had a call from Terry, was the coach and GM in Toronto. and then obviously Darris in Buffalo. So I made a decision where I felt I had the best opportunity to make the team and contribute. And at that time, I felt like it was Buffalo, even though Toronto's in my backyard, right, and a little bit closer. But I'm glad looking back, I'm glad I made that decision. It was the excitement the fans bring there is it's unreal. It's
You
almost
fit in that,
speechless.
you fit in that program beautifully because, again, we go back to the Orangeville thing and the work ethic of your personal game, and it really fit into that kind of the Banditland experience of, the grinding and the toughness.
Yeah, especially how Darris liked to coach, right? He was, no nonsense type coach. So he let you know if you were, not contributing, not pulling your weight around there. I remember one year we were on a bit of a slide. I think we lost maybe 5 or 6 in a row. And at practice, he had a individual player meeting, and I was scared shitless going in there, obviously with Darris, right? So you go in there, and actually, he didn't have a whole lot bad to say. There was some few things, but he liked obviously the way I worked, and that's I think why I played so long in the league, right? Because I worked so hard and and didn't take a shift off. Well, at least didn't try to take a shift off, and so it actually wasn't as bad as I was anticipating. But it was Darris, no nonsense type coach team for sure.
Right. You played 15 years. What really kept you motivated? Because, man, that's a grind, especially when you have to keep a regular job too and a family and everything else. That's a grind.
Yeah, love of the sport, I guess. Like, we're not doing it for millions. So, just love the team camaraderie, right? Like, I remember asking JT at the end of his career, like, I don't know how old he was when he retired, but he was almost 50, I think. and just asking him, and he would always say it's the team camaraderie. And he's a jokester. If you don't know him, he loves just being in the locker room and with the guys, and he's always joking around and that stuff is, why you play, right? You're kind of, that's your family away from your family at home. So, it's easy to buy in and love going to the rink when you're going with your buddies.
Yeah. He makes a point also telling his players all the time that the people out there paid their hard-earned money to watch you. So
yeah, for sure.
The thing you can do is give them a full effort, right? So
for sure.
Yeah. Well, lacrosse is the only thing really I know that goes 12 months a year, because you finish 1 year into the next, and you had a good career in the MSL as well, and you won a Mann Cup with Peterborough in 2012. Talk about that. I know you never even gotten to the finals up until you got into Peterborough, and here you are in another storied organization. And a little bit about that.
Yeah, and a great fan base there as well. So I've been pretty lucky, actually, looking back at it, to play in some pretty good fan base lacrosse teams. But that team was pretty stacked, offensively, defensively, goaltending. That Mann Cup, I remember we went down 2-0 to start the series, and I actually was a healthy scratch the first 2 games, and then they put me in the third game, and then we won, and then I didn't leave. Right, we ended up winning 4 straight, but just going out there and playing with the likes of Junior and JT on your left side, and I think maybe Vitarelli was the other one, right? So I don't have the ball in my stick very often when you're out with those guys. So I was more or less just, doing my job, trying to get them open, free them up for shots and whatnot. And, if I could pot the odd goal, looking back, I was like, if I'm a goal a game, I'm happy. And as long as I'm freeing up other guys and getting loose balls and getting hard off, that was kind of my game. But yeah, looking back at that team, I don't know where you rank them, but it was a pretty good team.
Oh, definitely. Now, I love summer ball. I love it more than the NLL, really.
Mhm.
I think it's more of a grind. I think it's more of an exciting game. It's more physical. How in the heck do we get the people back in the arenas? We used to have full arenas. How do we?
Yeah, maybe.
I almost feel like crying when I go into Brampton and I'm one of about 12 people in there. It hurts me.
Maybe market it a little bit more. I don't know. Like, do people know that there's even a senior A lacrosse? Like, you have the regulars, the guys that know, right? But are you attracting new fans? But I don't know. Would you know that they even exist in Brampton? Probably not. If you didn't already, right? So,
Right.
I think you got to get out into the community and do stuff with minor organization kids probably know there's a senior team and stuff like that. But I don't know, even giving a kid a free ticket so he brings his parents and his buddies or something. But that's a great question. If I knew that, even in Owen Sound, we'd be doing better. But I know Steve McCarthy's going to attack games and setting up a booth at the attack games this winter, trying to draw more fans in, right? Just get us out in the community and that. So
it's going to be a nice 1-2 punch. McCarthy's actually on next week, so I can't wait to talk.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Because him and I go back to the Brampton organization too. We're on the board together. So,
nice.
But yeah, again, I was talking with Eric Peroni about it, and at least they're trying to get in with the Oshawa Firewolves now, and get announced in there so you can let the people know who are coming to NLL games that there is summer ball and it's not far away. And I think that I think you're onto something there, especially is the marketing idea. Let people know that there's a game because
and even like a team like Six Nations, obviously, like who wouldn't want to go watch a team like that? It's a NLL All-Star team, right?
Absolutely.
So, like you said, it is. I liked it too. I like the NLL too, but it is more of a grind, especially those 7-game series to even get out of Ontario to get to the Mann Cup is a grind, right? So it's a little bit more physical, I think, too. That, like you said, it's a great product, and I don't know how, if you're not a newcomer coming in to watch a lacrosse game, how you don't get hooked personally, but
absolutely.
maybe with the confusion with a bit of the rules, but I mean, somebody explain. I know I've been part of franchises that were new, and in between the TV timeouts, they would have like we'd be up on the Jumbotron demonstrating, an illegal pick or, a high stick or a checking from behind, stuff like that, just to help, right? So especially those newcomers.
See, that's a great idea to do it again, because just to get the new as they're expanding NLL as well, and the idea of marketing. I've always said it, marketing to the kids. If you market the party like they did in Mill, you sell one ticket. If you market to the kids, they're not coming by themselves. Dropping off the arena and say good luck. Mom and dad are coming, brother and sister are coming, aunt and uncle are coming, grandma, grandpa are coming. You can sell 6-7 tickets just by having one kid excited about the game. So I agree. And, to reduce prices, or even, kids with uniforms from whatever your minor teams get in for free, to do it that way and, work your magic that way. Because once they're in, you got them. I don't know anybody I've ever brought to a game that says, I'd like my time back. Thanks.
Yeah.
They're usually for the next game, right?
Yeah, I think the NLL's teams are doing a better job going to schools and doing school visits and stuff like that with some of their players and teaching the phys ed class about the game. And then, if they dish out a ticket, like I said, and, you get them hooked.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, also with Ontario Series, you did Senior B. You won the cup with Owen Sound with Woodsman. Now, my question to you is: now that you're coaching with Owen Sound, does that bring back some memories?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I lived there for 3 years. My wife got a job there. Is how I ended up moving there. And then so I was like, oh, I might as well play for the Senior B team, and I was playing for the Barrie Lake Shores at the time too. So. The one summer, I think I played 70 games that summer or something silly. Like it was ridiculous. Like the amount of traveling in lacrosse I did that summer, because I played senior B and senior A, and I played every game I could with both teams. So, yeah, it brings back a lot of memories for sure, and a lot of friends that I even grew up playing. Like Brian Kazarian's a good friend of mine. He was in my wedding party. He's from Owen Sound, and then obviously Adam Jones is a good friend, and a lot of other players obviously I played with.
Right. Now, 2017, you're with the Black Wolves. You decide to retire, and you go in as a scout. Talk about that and what you would be looking for in tomorrow's player.
Obviously, like I have a young 13-year-old boy, but the thing that I tell him is, you want to be a good teammate, you want to be coachable, and you want to work hard. So those are the three things that, I look for anyways. But lacrosse IQ is another one, right? Like, it's this little things, like even of, at their level, they should be opening up to the pick, right? And off pick and rolls and stuff like that. But, it's sometimes guys still don't do it, right? So, just hardworking. And it's the little things too that I like, because that's what I pride myself on, is just like even running hard on through the middle, right? Not running around the outside, because that's easy for defenders, right? They can see you in front of you. It's easy for them. But is it a lot tougher for an offensive player to run through the middle? Yeah, you're probably going to get hit. You're going to get whacked. So that's why a lot of guys don't go through there. But that's what you got to do. You got to pay a bit of a price to be successful, right? So so some of those things are what I look for. It's the skill wise, especially like if you're looking for NLL guys playing junior A, and that, like, a lot of them have good skill. That's why they're there. It's those little things what I look for.
Right. It's funny because I had Neil Doddridge on a while back, and he brought something I never would have thought of. He looks at the way guys run.
Yeah.
Whether on the ball of the foot or whether on the flat-footed or whatever, he's thinking ACL, MCL, right?
Okay. Okay.
If they're doing it a certain way, and if they're on the ball of the foot, he's more interested than if they're.
I wonder how he thought how I ran then.
Oh boy!
I would have never figured that one out in a million years.
Yeah, that's a funny one. To be honest, I don't really care how they run, I guess, as long as they're getting fast from point A to point B. But I mean, yeah, like anything can happen on a lacrosse floor with an ACL or MCL, right? Like, so some of that stuff is uncontrollable too, right? But it is a different way of looking at it. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk a bit about you heading into coaching. The first one that you had really was with Team Israel. As an assistant coach in 2015. How did that come about? Now, of course,
I played on the 2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played that year. That was their first year being in the Worlds in Onondaga, right? So I played that year,
okay.
and it was, coming into it, it was Brad MacArthur was the coach. He was the head coach there. Jason Crosby was the offensive coach, and David Denenberg was the D coach. But yeah, Scott Neese and Brad approached me about playing, and I didn't even know they had a team. So I thought it was great, and obviously wanted to represent Israel and go play for them. So I remember we had one training camp in Philadelphia. And then it was kind of like right into the tournament. So a lot of new faces, people I didn't know, but we gelled quickly, and we steamrolled through the round robin. Right. I think we ended up playing the Czechs to move on to get up to the next group. And then where we ended up playing Canada, where they steamrolled us. But, it was quite an experience. And then the bronze medal game, we played US at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse there. And that, we lost that game too. But all in all, it was quite an experience, and something I'll remember forever.
Right. How different is it when you're talking about coaching, because you took on the head coaching job with Team Israel eventually, and compared to a place like in Orangeville or some of the NLL places you've been in, an an emerging lacrosse nation is a
Mhm.
lot different. How different was it to get in there and start coaching them?
Well, it's a lot of teaching, obviously, right? So a lot of field lacrosse players, but not used to the indoor box game.
Right.
So there's a lot of teaching going on. But what I love most about them is they're so coachable. They're constantly asking questions. What can I do here? And they're quick learners. All really good athletes. Just the IQ of the game. We were at the Lax Night tournament there
Mhm.
in September, and we didn't have our full team. One of our players actually was getting married in Italy, so quite a few of our players were there, obviously.
Right.
But the games we lost, it was to like some of the Iroquois teams where they just have more lacrosse IQ. Like we were better athletes and we could run up and down the floor, but
Mhm.
then they knew when to cheat, right? Like we'd all run down in transition going offensively, and they would hang a guy back. Well, if we didn't score, the ball was going back the other way, and now he was on a breakaway. But just not knowing, hey, if you're the last guy back, we can't all be going forward, right? So just little stuff like that is where we lack. But we try to do as many events like the Orbeski tournament,
Mhm.
that Lax Nine. Those are our two main, I guess we'll call them training camp type events, because everyone's scattered. Like half our guys live in Israel, and then everybody else is North American. So, but it's spread out all over North America.
Yeah.
So it's tough to ask guys to fly in a couple times a year for training camp. So those are our two. So they got to learn quick and on the fly. But it's been all positive, and it's I'm happy I took on the role when Brad asked me, because he's coaching down field lacrosse in Jacksonville, or no, sorry, what is it? Florida Tech. He coaches D3 or D2, I think.
Right.
So his commitment was he's pretty busy there. So he couldn't make it to Prague and stuff like that. So he asked if I wanted to take on the head coaching. And at first I wanted to think about it, and then I was like, yeah, why not? And I'm glad I did.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you came out of retirement in the 2018 Rebeski tournament, and
Yeah.
that's the year that they won. And what and the history. And Dave Denenberg was the one who got me up to speed on the history. Is
Yeah.
that's the same spot where Hitler marched his officers in
Yeah.
1939, and here Tel Aviv is hoisting a trophy and the championship on that same ground. So I guess it's good over evil in everything, really.
Yeah, there's a picture. I'm not sure if it's in the clubhouse or where we got it, but yeah, they're all in line, all the soldiers out where that lacrosse box is, and then when we won it, we have a team picture of us with the trophy, and there's crops side by side. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy to even think of that, but. Yeah, it happened and it's real, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's quite the story for sure.
It's amazing. Let's talk a bit about that Rebeski tournament in its own right, though, and your take on when you first got there. I know when I first got there, I'd heard so much about it. I got there. I've been doing it for a number of years now, and you just sit there and you're walking down a neighborhood.
Hmm.
People are walking their dogs, and and there's a rink, and inside this rink is a who's who of lacrosse. And when Raditon's playing, of course, you get 2,000 people in there, and it's crazy.
Yeah, no, and then you have like even people watching out their windows because it's all like houses
Yeah,
all wrapped around, right? And like you said, when Raditon's playing, it's they're loud, they're cheering, they're chanting, they got songs and stuff. Like um, last year, we ended up playing them. I think it was like maybe the sixth or seventh place game or whatever. But we have a young Jewish boy from Raditon. He's only Danny Haylett, I think is his last name.
mhm.
Anyways, um, Jake and Matt Flapen, who have been going to that tournament for, I think they're over 10 years easily, and have stayed actually with his family because they knew they're Jewish, and knowing that Gold Star's Tel Aviv, so they connected somehow, and they've actually stayed at Danny's parents' house. Well, he was our backup goalie last year, and we decided it was, the game. It's not that it didn't mean anything, but we weren't going to get relegated down or whatever. So it was, kind of no pressure type game, but we started him, and he's only, I think, 18, 19,
right?
And played his hometown. He plays for their junior team,
right?
And we end up beating them, and he played great. And it was, even his mom came up to me after, and she was like, so thanks. She's like, thank you. And then it was nice to see even like their coaches and their players congratulating them, right? Like, it's not that they, were mad at him because they just lost to him, but that was quite an experience. And yeah, it's first walking in there was like, this is one of the coolest events I've ever been to. And I've been to a lot of places over North America through NLL and whatnot, and that definitely ranks right up there.
Definitely. And you guys, you beat them twice in last year's tournament too,
yes, we did. Yes. Yeah. And then we got to talk about the fireworks at the end, right? Like,
the 5 minutes of fireworks is insane.
Yeah, especially the year we won in 2018, right? You just won. And that year was crazy because our starting goalie got suspended in the semifinal game. So I think our backup was actually an Israeli kid who's never played ball. He just came over for the experience, had some shots or whatnot, like in warm up, but we never planned on ever putting this kid in. And now we're going into the finals for first place, and we can't start him. So we end up picking up, I can't remember the guy's name, but he used to play for the Czech national team.
Right.
But for whatever reason, I think he got beat out by a guy, so was kind of mad at the national team. So, so had like semi-retired, and Scott Neese is the one that gave us and we ended up contacting him. Hey, do you want to come play against? I think we played Nova Scotia maybe in the final that year, but do you want to come play for the final? So we came in, and we end up winning with this guy who hasn't played in like 3 or 4 years or something like that. Amazing. And then the fireworks after is just, there's houses all around. You're like, is this legal? Like, I don't think this would fly in Canada, right? No. Like, it's a really good pyrotechnic show, man. It's unreal.
Well, it's also, the next time you see a game stopped in Ontario because the floor sweats a little bit, think about the downpours. I've watched refs take their helmets off because they couldn't see through the visors with the rain. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. And, you might as well have skates on for some of the things going into the court.
And last year it did rain, right? Like, last year was very slippery. And there's the one corner is just a death trap. You can't, like, a loose ball in there. You're right. You're tippy-toeing in. You're not going in full, or you're going right through the boards. But it would be nice if they could figure that part out. That I don't know, have some sort of drainage under there. But yeah, that's maybe the only downfall is if it rains, it can be very slippery, and your footing is very sloppy.
Well, even for the crowd, if it rains, trying to get up to the bar or to the grilling,
it's all mud.
The entire sliding through the mud.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole thing is great. Like I say, the Dave Dennenberg gave me the jersey above my head for the Gold Star Tel Aviv.
Nice.
Game. I got a bunch of the stuff. I was telling you off air, Bill Baroza had given me this after the vest from Team Israel Lacrosse because of the stuff we've done with the World Lacrosse Field Championships, and watching them there. You could see that the program's up and coming, and every time I see them play, they're that much more gelled.
Yeah,
I think you have a lot to do with that.
Yeah, and then even like with those guys that have all moved over there and live there and are growing at the grassroots is awesome. It's they have a lot. They had a a U20 team this year, I think, at the or Field Lacrosse Championships.
Yeah.
And I forget how they finished, but the first couple games they didn't do so well, but they ended up finding their groove and winning a few games. And like I said, I don't know where they finished, but that team was, a lot of, native Israelis on that team as opposed to being just Jewish kids from North America. So that ideally that's what it's about, is growing the game, in Israel and getting sticks in kids' hands. And, a lot of them have, fell in love with it. And that's great. And hats off to all those guys that have gone over there and started that program. It's remarkable.
Absolutely. Now I want to talk a bit about the ALL. You had some time coaching with Whitby, and again, of all the programs in the ALL, I think that's probably been the most successful up to this point. But I love it. I've been the media guy there for a number of years, and I absolutely love it. My Saturday afternoon at Children's Arena, and have fun with that. Let's talk about the importance of that league, because my opinion of it is it shows guys who are up and coming how to become a professional, but more importantly, how to stay a professional.
Yeah, for sure. No, like the NLL needs some sort of development league. Especially while the season's going on, right? I know you have your practice players, and it's great that they're able to play in the ALL and get game shape as they're just practicing with your team. But yeah, no, our first year, like you said, in Whitby there, we ended up winning it. Paul St. John's done a great job with that league, and it is, it gives you kind of like a minor hockey team vibe, right? Where, maybe you're not flying in and out every week, but at least you're getting into that routine of what a NL type day would feel like if you were to make it there. And it gives a great opportunity for GMs and coaches to continue to watch and scout some of these young players that, playing junior is one thing, but then, once you graduate and you're 22 and now you're playing against a 30-year-old, it's a little different. So, no, it's great to have that league, and I'm glad it's still around. I'm glad it, didn't just fold after a few years, and no, it's great.
Right. Now, another part of it really is, do you think that this could be like the AHL? That eventually every NLL team could get one team, and that way they could hold on to their draft picks and develop them and put into their own coaching styles, because they put in about 30 or 35 guys into the NLL over the years. But 1 week you're with Rochester, you're back in, 3 weeks later you're playing with Toronto, then you're back in playing with Philadelphia, and nobody really gets to really get into a system.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Like, I hope they could do it one day. Like, I think it would only make the NLL more successful, right? Like, instead of, a guy, like you said, has played here, played there, now you're kind of bringing him in to teach him a new system or whatnot. If you could just, kind of have your minor league coach implement, what your systems are. And it's, guys would bounce up and down from NLL to the minor league, we'll call it. And I think it would only make the NLL more competitive. And I also think like NLL needs to go to like a full-time, this needs to be your only job where you're committed 100%. Like, I love the summer league as well, but I think it's got to be, that league could also be more like development, like the ALL is, right? Where NLL guys just play in the NLL, right? They play 30, 40 games a year. I don't know if you could do 80, but, started off somewhere in that range where they can make a living and just focus on lacrosse.
Right.
Like you said, at the end of my career, like I'm an electrician as well. So I can remember when I was with the Bandits, I was actually working out of town with my electrical job. I was working in Belleville. And then on Tuesday, I would have to drive to Six Nations. So I'd have to leave I forget how long it took me. It was at least 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
And then I would practice while I was living in Guelph at the time. So I would drive to Guelph, sleep there, wake up at 4 a.m. and then drive back to Belleville to work. So like you said, it's a grind, right? So I'm surprised I even lasted that long at the end of my career. And then having kids is adding another job on top of it, right? So lucky I have a great wife to do most of the heavy lifting at home. But like if guys, like you said, could focus on it full time, I think it would just elevate everybody's game even that much more.
Right. Nowadays, especially now that the money is starting to come up a little bit and we finally have the TV and things like that, maybe that's in the cards, not in the too distant future. When we had Sakavitz on, he was talking that this was roughly like the NHL of about 1976, where TV is already in there a little bit, but the big explosion hadn't hit yet. And I'm thinking that Olympics in 2028, that could be the one that sends us from floor 3 or 4 to here if it's done right.
Yeah. Like I've been saying it for a long time too, right? Like when is it going to take that next step, right? Like in earlier on in my career too, there were TV deals and then they went away, right? Like I think Sportsnet used to have it, right? And then and then they didn't have it anymore, and then now TSN obviously has it, and it's at least sticking around, which is great. But you're right, like unless like you or I bring in a new fan, how are new fans getting hooked, right? Hopefully they're channel surfing one day and stop on a lacrosse game, on a rock game or whoever's playing and go, oh, this is interesting. And then, watch, 10, 15 minutes, get hooked. And then, hey, maybe look into getting tickets. Wow, they're actually pretty affordable as opposed to going to a Leaf or a Raptor game, right? And then they get in that way, and then but like you said, it needs to be on, like it is on TV, but it needs to be even more, I think. But
I think, Chad, I think the Olympics are different.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, and I think it's important what we do after it's on the Olympics. That moment when you get a chance to get people interested in it, or people who've never seen it before. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to the Olympics, these are people who are interested in sports, but not specifically watching for any specific sport, right? You're watching the whole thing. It's like going to a buffet, right? And somebody says, okay, we're going to turn you loose on a buffet for a couple of weeks. You want people to stop by and check out what the lacrosse tastes like. But the thing is, you got to make that bridge from people finding out or checking out what it tastes like to make the connection of where they can get to it, where they can see it, where they can buy it again, right? That's what I'm hoping they make that leap, right? From people seeing it at the Olympics and making the connection of where they can see it, right? So I hope the people who are announcing talk a lot about the NLL, talk a lot about all the leagues, and give people a couple of leads on where they can go. And the key, I think, too, is because we're very local oriented, right? So what you hope is you talk about a league and it has a small town in Canada or a small town in the US. The people go, oh, we have a team right there, and they might go and check it out. The point is they've got to be like a buffet. They got to be out there for the people to try. And then hopefully they'll enjoy it and want to come back to the buffet.
Yeah. And then hopefully we got Canada and US in the finals. And then that will help, all the North American people anyways.
There's a good chance of that.
Yeah, for sure.
The odds of that happening are,
I've tried that plan before. I've sat in a pub with a tablet and had a game on. And before you know it, there's people over my shoulder looking at the game. And I've tried to Chromecast it on there. And, slowly but surely all the heads are going to the game. It's a very magnetic game. Like I say, I don't know anybody who's gone and seen it who said, I want my time back. So, to have it on linear TV, it's great to have it on Plus, ESPN Plus, TSN Plus. That's great for us. I'll watch it on a washing machine if I have to. But to try and get somebody to shed out some money who doesn't know what they're watching, linear TV, at least a game of the week, like we're doing the TSN Friday night lacrosse thing, at least a bar can turn it on to TSN and this game will come on and it's there. And if they can do that, one of those heartwarming things, it was a Halifax game And it was a couple of years ago. I'd wandered into it and on every TV there was the Thunderbirds playing. It was like, this is awesome. I've died and gone to heaven. Like on every single TV, no matter where I went, it was there. It was like, this is great. Finally.
Yeah, like before, the lacrosse fan could watch it, but we had to find it, right? We had to go stream it, like we said, or on TSN Plus or whatnot. But yeah, it needs to be where somebody's channel surfing and is just like there, or like you said, a bar. Hey, can you throw on a sport event? Oh, well, this is the only thing on right now, and it's a lacrosse game, and get them hooked. But yeah, like you said, lots of goals, physical, fast paced, back and forth. Like, I don't know, like, what is there not to like?
Exactly. Now, I also want to hit, because I'm a big proponent. I've always been dwelling on this about All-Star games. You played in that All-Star series in Melbourne back in 2009. Talk about that a little bit, and then I want to get into, are we missing the boat on not having an All-Star game yet?
Yeah, so that one was like, I literally got an email. Hey, would you like to go to Australia, all expenses paid? And I was like, oh my God, I hope I'm not too late. And I immediately replied. And then, yeah, we went over there and ended up playing 2 games, I think. And yeah, even it was in, I forget the stadium who's the big Australian player? What state? I forget what stadium it would have been called, but it was where the tennis facility is. So yeah, we played that, and I don't recall if there was a huge amount of fans there, but like we did a bunch of social events throughout Melbourne and stuff like that, and there was there's great lacrosse history there. Actually, we did a couple school visits too, and they're very knowledgeable on that. I think more field lacrosse, but yeah, that was great. A lot of great players that went over there too. But I think so. Like with lacrosse, like you watch the other professional sports all-star games, and lacrosse is still pretty physical. So like for all-star games, like are guys going full out? No, but you get the creativity though, right? Like the John Grant Juniors behind the back, under the leg, like whatever goals, right? Like that's still entertaining. So it might not be in your face like a normal game, but I think so. Like because I think the creativity with lacrosse is pretty unique, and some of the passes and stick stuff guys can do is pretty phenomenal. So I think so. Like just watching that. I mean, obviously I'd be interested, but yeah, I think they're missing the boat a little bit there.
Let alone the skills competition. The PLL make a real spectacle of that one weekend in their summer, and having the game's almost an afterthought. By the time you get the skills competition going on, and the men and the women and everything else, they've included everybody. And here we are with the NLL, and it's like,
yeah. When is the last time? When's the last time?
2010. Yeah. And that was kind of thrown together kind of strangely, and I think it was in Buffalo, and it was a weird event. But
you could throw it in a new market, like where they don't have lacrosse or whatnot, or I don't know if that would work or not, but like maybe try to get some new fans that way, or a franchise there eventually. But yeah, I think they are missing the boat. Like I said, the creativity in some of these guys, especially these days, is pretty phenomenal. So I think it would be fun to watch.
Right. Well, Frank came up with the idea of doing it like the old NHL thing of having the champions team, whoever won last year, being at Buffalo now, have them host it, have a year to market it. And then they play against the league all-stars. So you have a game that actually means something, because Buffalo doesn't want to lose to the all-stars, and the all-stars don't want to lose to Buffalo. So, it's just bring about injuries in a game that doesn't mean
that's
right.
That's the thing, I think. Yeah, the injuries, but
right. Just a couple more things is looking at your thing. What are you most proud of about your career?
I guess my longevity. I was able to play in the NLL for 15 years, and like I said earlier, playing with a lot of great coaches and friends and that. But yeah, I would say my longevity.
Right. Right. And now coaching, everything from youth on up to being, you were coaching in Halifax also for the NLL, and taking a look at all the coaches that you've played for. Is there any one in particular that stood out, or did you just take a bit from everybody and kind of make your own style?
I think I try to take a bit from everybody, but I would say probably Lindsay Sanderson more than others, just because, like I said earlier, coming from a small town and then going to Orangeville and not having that lacrosse, I learned a lot there from him, especially because I was so, I guess, raw at the time. So, and then I had him in Barrie for, I think, 5 years. So I've had Lindsay Sanderson as a coach for, I think, 10 years. So obviously he played a big part. But, I played for a lot of great, like Darris, Troy Cordinley. So there's, take a lot out of all the coaches I've had. Some good. I try not to take the bad, but a lot of their, the most about at least those three, they're so competitive, right? They're so passionate.
Mm-hmm.
And I know sometimes the way it's coming off, they maybe don't mean it that way, but they're just so passionate and fired up and want to win so bad that it might come off where, like, holy, he's yelling, like screaming this and that at me, right? But you just learn to take what the good advice out of it and use it, right? So, I try to take a little bit of everything, or all the coaches that have coached.
Accordingly comes to mind when you're talking about that kind of passion.
Yeah. He's fired up. He gets fired up, and I sometimes let that too. I'm working on trying to let my emotions not take over, but it's tough, right? I feel like I'm a passionate guy too, and hate to lose, and but you got to rein it in a little bit.
I got a question I want to ask.
Yeah.
When was the moment you realized you were, other than getting a check, and I don't mean a body check, I mean, when did you realize that you were actually a professional lacrosse player?
I guess when I signed that contract first was probably it was like, wow, even though they could have ripped it up at any second. That's the one thing, with the NLL, right? Like, no guaranteed money, right? So it's like, oh, I signed, I made it. Well, yeah, you can be cut tomorrow too, though.
Yeah.
So I guess, like I said earlier, flying into New York, LaGuardia there was like a huge eye opener for me, being from a small town. So it's kind of like, I remember getting picked up by one of the staff, and we're driving, and I was like, holy moly, like, kind of, that was maybe the moment too, right? I'm in New York City right now, like, like, didn't travel much as a kid. So I had never been there, but going there was kind of like an eye opener. Yeah. Like, whole kind of made it moment, I guess.
To play lacrosse. I'm here because
true.
Right.
To play something you love to do, right? So you don't consider it work, right? Like, I don't mind being an electrician, but there's days where, like, I got to go to work tomorrow, right? Like, damn it. Where, if I had to go play a game, I'd be looking forward to it. You know what I mean? So that's the difference.
You don't like the nickname Sparky?
No.
You don't like that nickname? No, because that's what we call all electricians. We call
I know. Yeah,
right? And
we called her once or twice.
Yeah. Well, I'm shocked to hear you're not a fan of being an electrician this much.
Oh, I get that.
I get a charge out of some of my comments.
Oh wow, you're on fire.
Wow.
Right now, Gary's reaching for a pole to hit me with.
That's funny.
Right through the TV or the camera.
It's funny because we're talking about being from a small town and going into New York, and again, Larry Lloyd had to mention that he was part of the Wings in '74, and here's a bunch of kids from Peterborough, never really got outside of the Clarington, Peterborough area. And here they're going to Philadelphia. Well, the Philadelphia Flyers won the cup in the afternoon, and they're playing their first game at night, and the city is losing its mind. And here are these kids from Peterborough going, what in the heck did we just
Yeah.
go into here? And, Wasson, he brought the thing up going, everything that we're striving for now, we had. The big arenas, they played in the Spectrum, they played in the Nassau County Coliseum, they played Maple Gardens, they played all the big barns. And TV, they had ESPN, and you had all these other things, and we had 40-game seasons, and all the things that we're striving for, we had, and we can't get out of our own way and have to keep restarting, and be like an Etch-a-Sketch, and whoop, we start again. Yeah. So let's hope this time we're the longevity thing. What excites you most about the future of lacrosse?
The Olympics, I guess, is a huge thing, like you guys brought up earlier. Like to be on the Olympic stage is, kind of wish. I mean, I doubt I would have been good enough to make Team Canada, but maybe Team Israel, right? So, just being on the Olympic stage is going to be, awesome for our sport. And like we were saying earlier, hopefully we can, get over that hump after the Olympics, and I look forward to it growing and being one of those major sports in North America, and seeing highlights on TSN and that all the time, right? Not just, if there's a nice goal or something like that.
Right.
Like seeing, actual every game on there. And like I said, I've been saying it for a long time, but hopefully the Olympics, like you guys said, get us over that hump.
Right. What's your thoughts on sixes, though?
I like it. It's back and forth. I feel bad for those goalies, but it's different. Obviously, it's not to what we are used to, but it's entertaining. It's back and forth. Lots and lots of goals, and so it's obviously not where we're traditionally used to. So I can see how some people won't like it, but I think it will draw new faces into the game, and just if they see that, and hopefully they'll like we said earlier, go see if there's a team close to wherever they live, and follow it that way. But I don't mind it. Like I coached my daughter's sixes team this year, and we only had 8 runners, so those poor girls were pretty gassed at the end of those games. But it was fun. I liked it.
It's funny because I had thought maybe if we made the nets 4x4 instead of 6x6, but it was Bob Tearing who had brought up the point. We got guys that are so accurate as shooters that they can hit anything that they want. If you give them just that little spot there, you're going to kill a goalie.
Yeah, it's more chances they're going to get hit.
Yeah, maybe 6x6 is a better idea, and just maybe let them pick corners. And
you feel bad because there's so many goals, but like you said, at least they're not taking it off the legs all the time, right? If it was 4x4, like how would they hold their stick? They would have to hold it like a box goalie, right? You wouldn't hold it up here. So and it would have to be more, get your body in front of it. So
if you want to give it protection, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
The final thing I've got for you is, what do you want to be remembered for in this game?
I guess being a good teammate, the guy who sacrificed his body and put everything he had when he played, and like I said, coachable, like just some of those things that I was saying that I look for in a player is
right.
I tried to play every game the hardest I could. So, and tried to be difficult to play against. So I know probably not well liked by all defenders, but maybe some of my low picks, but, just tough to play against, and gave everything he had.
Right. I really want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us about this and talk about your career and all the exploits in it. And I look forward to seeing you around. Well, at Rebetsky, I look forward to seeing you around the summer in SL and with Owen Sound, and it should be a lot of fun. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
It is totally our pleasure. All right. For Chad, Gary, I'm Candid Frank. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you again next Thursday, 4 o'clock, where we talk lacrosse, whether it's today, yesterday, and we're hoping for big days tomorrow. At least we hope our conversation leads to that, like we make a difference, because we know how important we are. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.